When doing the ancient hunts, it might feel nice to sacrifice so many items that you get multiple ancients to spawn, but that is not a good thing. You want to narrow the number of ancients that spawn to as few as possible. That way you'll have a higher chance to get the item you want. So for example, if you want the fighter's bindings, then you should move everything that's not necessary and put in the runes that give the fighter's bindings. It's these four. Then you see the mushroom ancient, which is the one that can drop the gauntlet weapon type, and therefore the fighter's bindings. And now you could sacrifice enchantment points if you wanted to, but I highly recommend not to do this if you're alone. If you want to sacrifice enchantment points, you could invite 3 friends. That way you only use 1/4 of the enchantment points that you would use if you'd play alone, because you can cycle. You start the first one, then your first friend start the next one, and so on. That way you use way less enchantment points to get the items you want. Now I can only sacrifice 6 enchantment points, but if I wanted to get the maximum chance, I'd have to put something in the last slot. I'll put a snowbow, that way I don't get any new ancients. And now I can sacrifice 9 enchantment points to get the highest chance. The artifact slot doesn't matter for how many enchantments you can sacrifice. It only matters for each of the melee, armor, and bow. So if I take the melee away, I can only sacrifice 6. If I take the bow away, that's 3. If I take armor away and only have the artifact, it's 0. You want to spend as few items as possible, that way you can play the ancient hunts multiple times without having to grind for items in between. But you also might want to put in all the items so that you can sacrifice all the enchantment points, making the chance higher. Although from 6 enchantment points to 9 doesn't make a huge difference. So it's up to you if you want to or not. But there's a way you can play ancient hunts without having to sacrifice anything at all. What you want to do is you want to create a clone of your main character. Then on the clone, you can join your friend. Once you've joined your friend, you can look up the items you need to spawn the ancient you want. For example, if you wanted to get the ancient that drops the wither armor, you could play the Soggy Swamp, which drops all the necessary items for it. Then you just play through the mission, collect as many items as possible. Once you finish the mission, you can see if you have the items necessary to spawn the ancient, or if one of your friends has to give you something. For example, here I didn't get the fishing rod needed to summon the ancient, so my friend gifted it to me. Here I check which runes I needed for the Grim Guardian, which drops the Wither armor. I'll put some helpful links in the description to help getting the right runes. If you play the Ancient Hunts on the highest difficulty, you'll have a higher chance to get the tier 3 built-in gilded effect. The lower difficulty you play, the smaller chance that you'll get a tier 3 gilded effect. Now I can start the Ancient Hunt. Once we're loaded in, I return to main menu, then I switch back to my main character and join back to my friend. That way I get all the items from the Ancient Hunt, but I don't have to sacrifice anything on my main character. Once I've played through everything, I check the Piglin Merchant and see if he sells anything good. I restock him twice. I recommend to restock him at least once since it's so cheap, but it can get really expensive quick, so I don't recommend to restock too many times.